Good morning, everyone. I hope your time has been productive and at least a little bit of fun. I'm speaking for Miss Coleman when I say how much we miss you guys and we wish we were all back in school. For those who haven't met, this is Miss Baker. She is my very special monkey friend. If you Google Miss Baker, you'll find that she was one of the monkeys they sent into space before they sent real people. And then when they came back from space, they operated on them to see the effects. And Miss Baker survived that surgery and lived at Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama for 27 more years. When I got to visit Huntsville, Alabama, I made a Miss Baker at their Build-A-Bear shop, and she's been with me ever since. So she is my trusty assistant. All right, so we're going to think about finding parts of a group today. This was lesson 7.1. We did this back when we were in school, but we thought we could use a little refresher. So here's what we're looking at. We're looking at finding parts of a group. And you can see that I've kind of started the work here a little bit. And in this first example, I'm going to find 1/6 of 18. And remember, when we see the time sign, we know we're thinking of the word of. So 1/6 times 18 is the same meaning as 1/6 of 18. So in this case, if I have 18 objects, I'm going to put them in rows of 6 so I can organize it to think about it. And I know that 18 divided by 6 is 3. So I have 3 dots in each of my rows. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. And then I go back to what I'm thinking about, and I'm asking about one of those groups, 1/6 of 18. So I look and I think, okay, well, here's a group, 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 and here's a group. But I'm only thinking of one of those groups. So I'm going to circle that one group, and I can see that 1/6 of 18 is 3 because there are 3 dots in that group. Let's look at another one. This asked me to think about 1/4 times 12. And just like before, I'm going to think about those 12 objects, and I'm going to put them in rows of 4. So I know that 12 divided by 4 is 3. So I have 4 rows with 3 objects or 3 dots in each row. And then once again, I'm going to think about one of those groups. So one of those groups, oh, look at that. Same answer. Isn't that interesting? 1/6 of 18 equals 3, and 1/4 of 12 equals 3. Coincidence. Now, sometimes we won't be asked to find one group. Maybe we're going to be asked to find multiple groups, like this one. And by the way, I'm on page 425. So if you would like to get out your book and follow along with me, I will set up the problem, and then you can pause the video and you can try it yourself and then compare your answer to mine. So in this problem, this is number 1 on page 425. You can see we're being asked to think about 3/4 of 12, or 3/4 times 12. So you would want to think 12 divided by 4 is 3. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4 rows with 3 in each row. And now, as you can see, we're talking about 3 of those 4 groups. So I'm going to circle 3 of those groups. 1, 2, 3 groups. And then I can count by 3s to find out 3, 6, 9. So 3/4 times 12 equals 9. Because of my 4 groups, I was looking at 3 of those groups, and each of the groups had 3 dots apiece. Did you get it right? I bet you did. All right, now this one, oh boy. So this time we were asked to think about 7/8 times 16. So if you're going to do this with me, go ahead and pause the video and make 16 dots in 8 rows. Okay, so if you've come back, you'll know that 16 divided by 8 is 2. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops. Don't need those, do I? So I have 8 rows with 2 apiece. And then looking at my problem again, I realize I'm looking at 7 of those 8 rows. So let's circle 7 of those 8 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that poor little row. No love for you. And don't forget, we cross those out. And so then I can count 7 of those groups. I can count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So 7 of those 8 groups equals 14. So 7/8 times 16 equals 14. Okay, now to the next one, which is number 3. It's asking 6/10 times 10. So I need 10 objects divided into 10 rows. So 10 divided by 10 is 1. So that means I've got 10 rows with 1 apiece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, good, I counted right this time. And then I'm thinking about 6 of those groups. So I'm going to circle 6 of those groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I know 6 times 1 is just plain 6. Okay, now, this time, and look at that. When I was writing this, I was thinking in my head 2/3 of 9, and I wrote it by accident. But then I just put the time sign right above it, because 2/3 times 9 is the same as 2/3 of 9. And with 9 objects, I want to put them into 3 rows. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. So I have 1 row of 3, 2 rows of 3, 3 rows of 3. And then I'm thinking about 2 of those rows. And so I'm going to circle 1 row and 2 row, and 2 times 3 equals 6. So now there's some of us that probably don't feel like making all those rows and all of those dots. So I bet you've already figured out or remembered that there is a mathematical way to do this. And it's this. When we look at 4/5 times 10, or 4/5 of 10, we're going to divide 10 into 5 rows. So 10 divided by 5. And I'm going to put this in parentheses so you can see it. 10 divided by 5, and that equals 2. And then I'm going to think about, oh, I needed 4 rows of those 2. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 4, which equals 8. So 4/5 of 10 equals 8. Okay? So now let's take a look at number 7, because number 7 is a word problem. So what? We can do word problems. Okay, so, oops. Oh, God, I hope you didn't see the answer. If you did, just put it away for a second. And the phone rings. Okay, so we've got Marco and 20 pictures, and he drew 3/4 of them in art class. So let's go. We need to find 3/4 of, was it 20? Yes. Sorry, just turned the phone off. So once again, let's think about the actual math that's involved here. 20 divided by 4 equals 5. And then we're going to take that 5 times 3, which equals 15. So 3/4 of 20 equals 15. I hope you tried it and got it right. All right, and then number 8, which is another word problem. Again, big deal. And so we are finding Caroline has 10 marbles. 1/2 of them are blue. How many of Caroline's marbles are blue? All right, so go ahead and try that on your own, and then come back and be ready to tell me why. Okay, I'm going to think 1/2 times 10, and I'm going to think, okay, 10 divided by 2 equals 5, and then 5 times 1 equals 5. So 1/2 of 10 equals 5. And you know what? I bet you there's a whole bunch of you that did not even need to do that math. I bet you probably could have figured that one out all by yourself. So, if you have any questions, I want you to come back to this video and play it a couple of times. And if you would like to test yourself, then stop it when I've showed you the problem and you do the work on your own, and then turn it on so you can see my work. All right, guys. Hope this is helpful. Good luck on your Think Central assignments. And I'll talk to you soon. Say bye, Miss Baker. Bye, kids.